Hello students, hope you are fine. So today I thought, since the exam is coming up and your first chapter I had completed long ago, it will be better for you if I make a revision class, and since few parts had been reduced by the council due to this pandemic and your syllabus was cut short from all actually subjects, so I thought today I will be summing up the chapter and I will be briefing you that the part which are there in the syllabus, I think you have already gone through the syllabus, but still today I will be explaining a little bit which one to study and how you will be preparing. Okay, so in your chapter 1, that is towards independence and partition, you go through the chapter 1.2. You will be getting 1935, the working on provincial autonomy. The chapter name is very big, so this is the heading of the chapter more or less. Now here, one thing make it very clear that these units you need to study from. Some units have been reduced, but the units which are there, don't try to reduce by yourself anything from the chapter or the topic. In this chapter, you will be studying more or less thoroughly on a brief idea of 1937's election, the first election of India before independence, where Congress and Muslim leagues and many other small parties had fought for the election, and Congress became the sole majority party to form the provincial government in many of the provinces. So what we will be studying very deeply and with a lot of concentration is about the role of Congress ministries. What kind of role they have played? The major role that the development of the labor and peasant class, revoked ban on the newspapers, on the other political parties. They forced British government to put up the developmental program for the common people, as well as prohibition of intoxicating liquors and drugs. There are 10-12 points of it. So go through these points very prominently, very deeply, very minutely, and so this part, this topic 1.2 is basically consisting of these two parts. An idea of 1937 election, how Congress became a sole majority party in the election, and the second part is the role of Congress ministry. Since they have owned in most of the ministries in the provinces, so how did they work? They work just like what I have told you. Coming into the 1.3, the national movement during World War II. Now here, the chapter is starting with August offer. It's a very important thing. The August offer provided the base for the Cripps proposal. India from 1929 Lahore session started demanding about Purna Swaraj. But now August offer started proposing that if India support the Britain in the World War II, then they will definitely be getting up the dominion status. The demand that British had fought for or asked for during 1917-1920s. Nearly 20 years before, which India had demanded or British Congress has demanded. Now, after 20 years, they are willing to give that. There are features. Coming into the next part, Cripps proposal. Here, the provisions of the Cripps proposal will be given very much importance. The proposals were just like that, and the August offer has told in a more elaborate way. It told about the British is willing to get the help of the India during the World War II. India will definitely be getting about the dominion status, and the Constitutive Assembly will be able to form their own government. So basically these parts with the proposal has actually had nothing. Gandhiji have mocked this proposal as a post-dated check on a drowning man. Means there is nothing on it. Now, why the failure was there? Quite obviously, the failure, both Muslim League and Congress did not accept the Cripps proposal due to mainly two reasons. First, Congress was not demanding or not in a mode of getting dominion status anymore. They were at firm demand of Purna Swaraj, which were never been uttered or written for a single line in the Cripps proposal. That's why they rejected. On the other hand, Muslim League had also rejected because of from 1940 Muslim League had started demanding for a separate nation. There were no such signs of that indication that is showing that India can be divided in future. So also Muslim League did not accept it. Coming into the Quit India movement, as soon as Cripps proposal failed, the Quit India movement was started, and here, if you go through the syllabus, it is very much prominently written. A vivid account of the movement will be studied. So now, what you will be studied is about the resolution. How in Wardha a long resolution was accepted, and it finally Quit India movement was launched. What were the major causes? The failure of Cripps proposals, the demand for the Purna Swaraj, as well as the Japanese threat in India. Since India had no trouble, no issue with Japan, still Japan was bombing over India. I have told you in class 10 the stories that how the Japanese used to bomb over the Calcutta and the territorial area, and how Indian or the Bengali people used to escape by switching off the light of the cities and keeping big ground or no man's land with lighted, with full of light, and from the sky the Japanese bombers used to mistake by saying it as a colony. So these are the culmination of the process: the failure of Cripps proposal, demand for the Purna Swaraj, the Japanese threat. All these actually led to the Quit India movement. There were three stages, where in first stage is how the movement has actually started. In second stage, how they have been captured as soon as the movement was started. Numbers in the next stage, we will be studying about how the provincial government had worked in Bengal, in Tamil Nadu, and many other places. And third, how the movement took the shape of the revolutionary nationalism and how it failed due to the repression and extreme torture. The last thing about the significance of the movement will also be studied with very importance, that how it affected the nationalized movement of India. Though it was a failure, still it helped in the course of the development of nationalistic feeling among the people. This was the last movement, major national last movement, and after within few years the Indian independence had been achieved. Coming into the last part of this chapter inside your syllabus, that is the transfer of power. 1.5. Here we will be studying about the cabinet mission plan. Now here also there was nothing new in the cabinet mission plan, but here the cabinet mission proposed a devastated thing. They injected or they instigated the native states to go out of India if they want to. For the first time, any indication that showed that India can be divided. They gave the right that a constitutive assembly will be forming a constitution. Native states who are not willing to accept that remain independent. The states will be divided in few parts, but the most of the important powers like communication, defense, economy, these will remain in the hands of British. Now you can easily understand, if a country's economy, a country's transport, and a country's defense is under the power of another country, any point of time the country can capture or control the entire administration of it. So quite obviously Congress did not accept it. Muslim League also initially did not accept it, but they realized later that there is a slightest chance in that particular clause that the native states who are not willing to remain or accept the constitution or in the constitutive assembly, they can go out. So Congress rejected because it can create thousands of India. Each and every state who are not willing to remain inside Indian territory, they can form a new India. This way a country cannot stay. On the other hand, Muslim League realized if 2 or 3 countries don't want to remain inside India, they can collectively form a different country which they have dreamed for. So this is the part. Next part is Mountbatten Plan, but eventually the political scenario in England had changed. Clement Attlee from the Labour Party came into the power in Britain, and then and there raised the voice for the transfer of power to India. That's why he sent Lord Mountbatten for a speedy transfer of power. The specific causes will be mentioned, how the states will be divided in three categories: the particular A group, which will definitely be remaining inside India, a B group, which will definitely be going outside the India, and the third group with the confusion or dilemma that whether they will be remaining inside India or be going outside India, or a part of it will remain or go. For example, the third group remains with Punjab and Bengal. Both the states, due to the culmination of the process of partition, had been divided. Half went to the hands of Pakistan from Punjab and Bengal, East Bengal and West Punjab. So this is how Mountbatten Plan had clauses. You will be studying very briefly. Last part, the acceptance. Why the British Congress had accepted it? There were many reasons. First, in the previous interim government, Muslim League had created a lot of struggle. They did not let Congress work any positive work. So Congress was in a very much agitated mood to work further with Muslim League. Second, the Muslim League had intentionally created a lot of blood in the name of communal riots. So further stretching up the independence with an united India, with the dream of united India, could lead another or few more bloodsheds, which has never been expected, or which Congress didn't want at all. Third, they realized a strong center with a smaller country is far better to control than a bigger country with a weaker center. This thing you have already studied in class 10, again you will be studying in class 12. So it's very easy to understand, and I think you have already studied it, but still I am just brushing it up. Last part is the Indian Independence Act. We will only be studying about the clauses, that how the assets, the nations, the army, all have been divided, how two governor generals established in two of the separate dominion. For the first time, the India and Pakistan names are coming up. How the two constitutions will be written by the two constitutive assemblies of India and Pakistan, which will be forming just after the transfer of power. These are the most important features of the chapter, and thus this chapter ends. The chapter is big. That's why I have given you only one chapter for the unit, but the chapters are full of point-wise questions and answers. So don't get confused that how we will be completing. It's very easy to complete. Go through the question, rather I would say go through the topic. This way you study, it will be very easy for you. Study topic-wise. Don't go through point-wise or question-wise. Suppose you are studying the CRISP proposal, study everything. Proposal, failure, done. Mountbatten Plan, proposal, acceptance, August offer, proposal, definition. This way if you study your short questions, your broad question, everything will come common in the exam. So best of luck for you children. Stay healthy, stay safe, wear mask even inside when you are in home. Speak English, converse in English, study good newspapers, magazines, see some good program on the TV. It will not only increase your vocabulary but also help you to build up a good future. God bless you. Bye.